Imagine this scenario. It is the defining moment of the year for sports fans. The room is electric with tension. The air is thick, almost heavy, with the collective anxiety of everyone around you. Your friends are leaning forward on the edge of the sofa, their knuckles turning white as they grip their knees. Their eyes are wide, unblinking, glued to the screen. You can hear their breathing synchronize. And then, it happens. The goal is scored. The touchdown is made. The room instantly detonates into chaos. People are screaming. They are jumping up and down, spilling drinks, hugging strangers, high-fiving the air. The sheer volume of raw emotion is overwhelming. It is a tsunami of joy and relief. And right in the center of this storm, there is you. You are sitting there, perhaps holding a half-eaten chip, feeling absolutely nothing. You are completely calm. In fact, you might even be a little bored. You check your watch. You wonder if there is enough dip left. You look around at the faces of the people you love, faces distorted by ecstasy and tears. And for a split second, a cold thought creeps into your mind. Is there something wrong with me? You feel like an anthropologist studying a strange, primitive ritual. You feel like an alien wearing a human suit who forgot to install the excitement software. You might even try to fake it. You clap when they clap. You smile when they smile. You force out a weak, "Yeah, let's go," just to blend in. But deep down, you feel like a fraud. You feel a profound sense of isolation, a disconnection that goes beyond just not liking a game. You wonder why you cannot access this reservoir of passion that seems so easily available to everyone else. You start to label yourself. You think you are cold. You think you are boring. You think you lack spirit or loyalty. But I want you to stop that internal monologue right now. You are not broken. You are not a social defect. What you are experiencing is not a failure of emotion. It is a difference in neurological architecture. While the majority of the human population is running on an ancient operating system designed for tribal cohesion, your brain has evolved to run on a different frequency. You aren't missing the signal. You have simply tuned into a station that doesn't broadcast on the public airwaves. Today, we are going to open up the hood of your mind and look at the science of the low tribal instinct. We are going to discover why your inability to scream at a TV screen is actually a sign of a highly independent, sovereign identity. To understand why you remain seated while the world stands up, we must first look at the invisible architecture of human connection. The engine driving the chaos around you is a biological mechanism called mirror neurons. In the brain of a sports fan, these neurons are firing in a massive, synchronized symphony. When they see a player running on the field, their brain is not just processing visual data. It is simulating the act of running. When a player gets tackled, their brain registers a ghost of that physical impact. The barrier between self and other dissolves. For those 90 minutes, the fan is not a spectator. They are on the field. They are the team. This is why they use the word we. We won. We played hard. We were robbed. It is a collective hallucination where their identity merges with the group. But your brain? Your brain has a formidable firewall installed. You are type 1, the reality anchor. Your mirror neurons are highly selective. You possess a cognitive filter that rigidly separates my actions from observed actions. When you look at the screen, your brain refuses to suspend disbelief. You do not see us. You see them. You see 22 genetic outliers chasing a synthetic object. You see physics. You see statistics. You see a business transaction disguised as a war. You see the reality of the situation without the emotional overlay. You are immune to the contagion. While the crowd is experiencing a high-stakes battle for honor, you are essentially watching a spreadsheet update in real time. This isn't because you lack empathy. In fact, you might be incredibly empathetic toward your family or friends in real crises. It is simply that your empathy requires genuine, personal connection, not a tribal proxy. This brings us to the second layer of your resistance. We need to talk about dopamine, and specifically, the concept of the proxy win. The human brain is designed to seek reward. For the majority of the population, evolution favored those who could feel good simply by being near a successful leader or a winning tribe. If the tribe killed a mammoth, everyone got a dopamine hit, even the ones who stayed back at the cave. This is the biological basis of fandom. The fans around you are getting a chemical high from achievements that are not their own. They are borrowing glory. You, however, fall into the category of Type 2, the independent agent. Your reward system is wired differently. You have what psychologists might call a high agency requirement. Your brain is stingy with dopamine. It refuses to release the feel-good chemicals for vicarious victories. You don't get a buzz when they win, because you didn't do anything. You didn't train, you didn't run, you didn't strategize. To your logical mind, celebrating a sports victory feels as absurd as taking credit for the sunrise. It feels unearned. You crave direct competence. You get your high from solving a complex problem at work, from fixing a leak in your sink, from mastering a new recipe, or beating a difficult level in a video game. You need to be the driver, not the passenger. This inability to enjoy the free lunch of sports fandom is not a defect. It is a drive for authenticity. You are incapable of stealing valor, even subconsciously. So far, society has probably made you feel like this trait is a social handicap. You have been told to loosen up, to get into the spirit, to stop being such a buzzkill. But let's flip the script. Let's reframe this defect through the lens of evolutionary psychology. What if I told you that your lack of sports enthusiasm is actually a modern superpower? We call this Type 3, the sovereign mind. Think about the origins of tribalism. For thousands of years, survival depended on blind loyalty to the group. If the tribe said, "We hate the people across the river," you didn't ask why. You picked up a spear and you hated them too. Dissent was dangerous. Independence was a death sentence. The sports gene is just a modern remnant of this ancient warfare code. It is a safe, sanitized way for people to exercise their instinct for us versus them. It feels good because it feels safe to belong. But you are the genetic variation that nature created to question the tribe. You are the low tribal variant. This means you are naturally resistant to groupthink. When you see thousands of people wearing the same color, chanting the same slogan, and directing their anger at a common enemy, your brain doesn't feel safety. It feels skepticism. Your lack of interest in sports is just the visible tip of a much deeper iceberg. It suggests that you are less susceptible to mob mentality in other areas of life, in politics, in corporate culture, in social trends. You are the person who stands in the middle of a stampede and asks, "Wait, where exactly are we running?" This inability to care is actually the ability to conserve emotional energy. Think of empathy and attention as a limited resource, like a battery. The average sports fan spends a huge chunk of their battery life every weekend stressing over outcomes they cannot control. They are emotionally exhausted by Monday morning because they spent Sunday screaming at a referee who couldn't hear them. You, on the other hand, have a full battery. You are preserving your cognitive resources for things that actually matter to your reality. Your relationships, your creative projects, your personal growth. You are not cold. You are focused. You are not boring. You are selectively passionate. While the world is distracted by the circus, you are quietly building your own kingdom. You have traded the comfort of the crowd for the clarity of the individual. And in a world that is constantly trying to recruit you into some kind of tribe, political tribes, brand tribes, cultural tribes, the ability to stand alone and say, "I don't care," is the ultimate form of freedom. You are immune to the manipulation of us versus them. You are the observer on the hill, watching the battle below, understanding the game better than the players because you aren't blinded by the jersey. So, the next time the game is on and the room is shaking with noise, I want you to change your perspective. Don't sit there feeling like an alien. Don't fake a cheer just to be polite. Sit back, relax, and observe the spectacle with the curiosity of a scientist. Appreciate the passion of your friends. It is beautiful in its own way, but appreciate your own silence even more. Realize that your mind is a sanctuary that you have built for yourself. It is a quiet room in a noisy world. You don't need the external validation of a scoreboard to know your worth. You don't need a team to tell you who you are. Here is a small challenge for you. The next time you feel that pressure to conform, to join a hype train you don't believe in, simply observe that feeling without judgment. Smile and say to yourself, "I am the sovereign." Use that time, while everyone else is glued to the screen, to do something small for yourself. Read 5 pages of a book. Sketch a drawing. Write down one goal. use their downtime as your uptime. You are not broken. You are simply built for a different kind of game. A game where you are the player, the referee, and the trophy. And that, my friend, is the only game worth winning.